ya. I'm about to take that. You already.
Alright, so this is an alternate version, and somewhere in an alternate universe. Ooh, spooky. Oh yeah, okay. So, this will be what if Deku was a villain. I mean, what if Deku had blood manipulation villain version? So, this one has a twist with the ability. Instead of, healing others, I took that part away. This one has the ability, I'll explain in a minute. Well, we're just going to call the ability Snatcher. You'll understand in a minute. So, all Deku's life with this quirk, he's been called a villain, saying you use blood. Well, isn't that what villains do? You shouldn't have that type of quirk. You should have a flashy quirk, like All Might or something. Then, it gets to the point where Deku's 9 and he's thinking, why was I blessed with such a cursed ability? Why is life so hard for me? Even with the powerful quirk, people still don't even respect me. They say it'd be better if I was quirkless, but I know the truth. If I was quirkless, then, maybe they'd pick on me and bully me, turn me to a mockery. So, Deku, it gets to the point where Bakugo challenges Deku to a fight, to be a future villain, and all the kids cheer for Bakugo. No one cheers for Deku, and anytime Deku uses his quirk, he gets scolded for protecting himself, while if any other kid was doing it, they get applauded. Nobody ever scolds Bakugo. He has a flashy, super cool quirk. It's always okay. So, one day, Bakugo's fighting Deku, and Deku, decides, forget it, I'm finna use my ability, and he takes a piece of his blood and he cuts Bakugo. The blood gets tainted with Bakugo's, quirk. With Bakugo's with his blood, and it becomes a sort of mixed type of blood. And Deku, as Deku's getting ready to drop some of it, the blood splashes back on Deku's wounds and stuff like that from the burns and stuff to heal himself. And it turns out that, he starts to feel a power boost. Like there's an extension now. So as Deku's getting ready to, get scolded, he holds out his hands to try to control the blood, but instead he starts to shoot explosions. Just like Bakugo. And Deku's thinking, did I copy Bakugo's quirk? And with this, I'm going to call this ability Snatcher. It basically, if Deku, controls a drop of somebody else's blood and puts it on himself, he can, he can copy their abilities permanently and use it just as well as they can. Because if you think about it, the quirks run in the DNA, right? Deku can control cells, blood, and he can also use his blood to regenerate himself. So that would mean that Deku, has the ability to literally manipulate other people's quirks and cells and stuff like that. So, it gets out that Deku can copy quirks and nobody wants to talk to Deku or be his friend or anything. So Deku goes about his life lonely. He now has 2 quirks, his blood manipulation and explosions. And let me write these down so I can remember. Okay. Deku goes along his life lonely, not having any friends. And it gets to the point where he's a loner. And skip to the day, where it's not Deku that gets attacked by the sludge villain, it's Bakugo. And Deku sees that he originally wanted to be a hero still because, he sees that while Bakugo's getting hurt, he's dying. Nobody's helping or anything. These aren't heroes. These are nobodies, just like him. And in the crowd, he starts maniacally laughing, but no one's paying attention to him. All Might buffs up and says, "I am here," and hits the sludge villain with the Texas Smash. Hello. So, he, after All Might jumps off, Deku goes to follow him, and, he sees All Might and stops him. Says, "Hey, do you think I can be a hero with a villain type quirk?" And All Might, says, if you have a villain quirk, you can never be a hero. You'll always be labeled as a villain, and we don't need that type of, us heroes don't need that type of publicity on our names. We don't need to be associated with people with villain quirks. This crushes Deku, and he starts to lash out, saying, I've always, while All Might's there, he says, I've always wanted to be a hero. I've always wanted to do stuff for the better good. But now I learned that all you heroes are entitled, selfish assholes who doesn't deserve their power. Who need someone like a messiah to lead you. Pathetic weaklings. This should trigger some red flags for All Might, but we're just going to say it doesn't. He jumps off and says, "Kid, I don't have time for you. If you have a villain quirk, just don't even bother trying to be a hero. You're not worth it. You're nothing." And, I'm going to leave it off here because I just wanted to do the intro. So thanks and have a nice day.